Hello, my name is Emma, and in honor of the solstice, I wanted to take a few minutes and sit down with you and share a verse from the Tao-Te-Ching, share some thoughts on the shortest day, the longest night, musings on darkness and light that I've come to as winter in the Northern Hemisphere has approached, my relationship with the darkness, as this year has been a teacher of darkness. This year's medicine and this year's deep pain has been very dark. And the solstice, the winter solstice, is bringing me into a place of reflection of all of that. So, just as a little introduction, my name is Emma Cardinal. I am just a woman. I used to say that I was a holistic practitioner, a healer, an intuitive. I had different titles. I've studied over 30 different healing modalities, holistic, energetic, spiritual, and I am none of that anymore. I'm just a woman, and I'm here to have conversations and share musings, poetry, stories of death, birth, and the sacred mysteries of life and nature and these divine, holy cycles that we are all the embodiment of. And I, in no way, have all the answers of anything. I am, as I said, just a woman sharing her wisdom, her medicine, her heart, and her stories. I am just here to share and offer my path, what I've learned, questions I still have, and teachings that I've received on my path. So as we get into this podcast episode, this recording, I wanted to start with this verse of the Tao-Te-Ching, verse 50. And this is the Stephen Mitchell translation. And it reads like this. The master gives himself up to whatever the moment brings. He knows that he is going to die, and he has nothing left to hold on to. No illusion in his mind, no resistances in his body. He doesn't think about his actions. They flow from the core of his being. He holds nothing back from life. Therefore, he is ready for death, as a man is ready for sleep after a good day's work. So I'll let you just sit with that verse for a moment. You can pause and reflect and maybe journal about it if you feel like that would be supportive. But if you're ready to go on, I'll continue speaking. For me, this brings to mind the idea, culturally, societally, that we in Western culture turn away from death. We avoid it at all costs. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to embrace it. We don't want to interact with it or be in relationship to it. It's as though we deem death as a bad thing or an evil thing. It's as though we look at it and say, no one should ever have to die. Death is wrong. When truly, death is the one thing we have in common. It's the one place we are all going. It's the great neutralizer. For it is neutral. It is not good or bad, it just is, and it is the greatest unknown. the greatest unknown. And I was sitting here the other day watching the sunset, and I was feeling so sad, feeling the loss of my son and the brokenness of my body. And I started to reflect on my own relationship with darkness. And I was noticing my resistance to the changing of the months and the changing of the seasons. You know, it was early December and winter was just around the corner. The days were noticeably colder and shorter. The nights much longer. And I wrote this little piece that I'm going to read to you now, and it says, and suddenly I woke up. It was December. Whispers of winter caressed the air. Silent footsteps echoed between naked trees. My gaze inward. Body collapsed to the earth, limp and humble. The mother of darkness approaches. Death is here, my daughter. December sings to me softly, blanketed by a cold embrace. Why? I fret. Why now? Why me? Quivering, shaking, moaning from everything but the cold. To be your friend, she replies. And I wrote this little poem, this little piece, because that's what I've come to, truly, is the darkness, the cold, death, grief. It's all a teacher. It's all medicine. It's not bad or wrong or something to be avoided. And this is what the winter solstice teaches us. Not to praise the light or to hope for longer days in the future, but to be with the darkness. This is what the yin and yang teach us as well. You know, is to see the light in the darkness and the darkness in the light. And we light candles around solstice to remember the light even in the darkness. And this is what death and grief and nighttime teaches us. This is what winter teaches us. It's not here to hurt us or cause harm or traumatize us. It's here to humble us. It's here to remind us of the light. Because when we are shrouded in darkness, of course, that's all we're asking for is just a little bit more light, a little glimmer of hope, something to hold on to. When the darkness is right there, she's opening her arms to embrace us. And that's what I've learned this year, and that's what I'm really sitting with this winter solstice. 2024, the year of the dragon, is to feel the darkness, not as something to move through, not as a step to get to the light, not as something to turn away from, but something to befriend, something to love and be loved by. Because that is what Mother Darkness is here to do. She wants to love us. She wants to be our friend, because darkness, winter, coldness, they will find us in life. Death will find us in some way, whether it's our own death, the death of a friend, of a mother, a sister, a brother, a father, an uncle, a cousin, a niece, a nephew, a child. Death will find us. We see this when trees fall. We see this all the time in nature, everywhere. And this is the medicine of the winter solstice. It's a very deeply yin space, and even within that yin, right, we can see in the yin and the yang symbol, there is still a white dot. There is still a glimmer of light, and that is the candle. That is the flame that we ignite. That is the fire that burns to keep our home and our hearth warm and cozy as the temperature drops. And so this winter solstice, I'm learning to befriend the darkness and the cold in ways that I thought I already had, and in ways that I'm realizing I never dared touch. Because it's only when you walk a path like this of such suffering, such pain, such depth of grief, that you really begin to know the darkness, the winter, the cold, death as a mother, as a teacher, as a friend. And there's a poem that I would also like to share with you. I did not write this. This is written by Arlene Bailey, and it's called Dancing with the Dark Goddess. And this was actually part of an agenda or a day planner that I had for 2024, and it is on the same page as my son's birthday. So it feels very significant, and it speaks to this darkness, this dark mother, as a friend and a teacher and a beloved, not as something negative or something to be turned away from, but as a being with such potent medicine. And so this poem is called Dancing with the Dark Goddess. Not all are called to walk the edge between the worlds. For those who are, who dare to risk, magic awaits. Not easy, wave your pretty wand magic, but magic that is deep and rough, pulling and tugging at your very existence, plunging you into the deep, dark, murky waters of all feeling from all times. Not all are called to dance with the dark goddess, but for those who are, a day will come when traveling between the worlds of dark and light will be a profoundly juicy journey of depth diving into the shadowy recesses in order to purify, mature, and perfect that which is the deepest of all mysteries, the soul of a woman. And some women, some people, will turn away from the darkness still, and perhaps that's their path. I can't say for certain one way or another, but I know for me and for the women in my circles, in my field, for the women that I've been connecting to that have also lost children in childbirth, who've lost children not in childbirth, who are actively choosing to walk with the darkness, to befriend the cold, to embrace the night and the depth at which this theme carries. There is so much medicine awaiting us. There is so much profound awareness, so many teachings, so much wisdom that lives within us. And as women, we are the bearers of the portals of both life and death, the sacred mysteries that humans have for so long, for so many millennia, tried to understand and figure out and control. We see this in the medical world. We see this in all of these other areas. We try to control and eliminate death or mitigate death. We try to control birth, which truly is such a wild experience, however birth occurs. And My question is, can we control it? Is it something meant to be controlled? Is it something meant to be understood? Or is it, as many indigenous cultures describe, a great mystery, the great mystery? And these are the sacred mysteries that women are the keepers of. Not because we know or understand it, but we are the keepers. We are the holders. We are the ones who bear children, who bring them forward in life or in death. And there is so much medicine that we carry in our stories, in our ability to tend to our grief and the grief of others. And it's a painful walk. And if we end up on this path of walking with darkness, as much as we don't want to, as much as we would much rather have our babies in our arms and rock them to sleep instead of building altars for them, if we can show up in humility and reverence and grace, if we can show up in honesty and love and compassion and integrity, with a discipline to be with the darkness, even when it's hard, even when it's impossible. If we can show up to the darkness and befriend her and learn to love her, we will heal the world. And this is what the winter solstice teaches us. This is the medicine of the winter solstice. It is a deeply feminine time connected to this archetype of the mother who walks with death, not by fighting death or being angry with death or cursing death or seeking revenge on the darkness or wishing the cold away, but by loving her, by bundling up and going out into the cold, by lighting a candle to keep ourselves warm even as the days are short. This is what we are taught. Even as the grief can take us over, change our lives, and have us completely transform, transmute, and die in order to be reborn anew. Because within death, of course, there is the light. Within trauma, within suffering, within grief, within pain, within death, within these very difficult things to grapple with, there is wisdom, there is light. But we cannot reach for the light and the wisdom and the compassion until we are deeply present with the darkness and the pain and the cold and the night. And being with the night is going to be different each time we engage with it. Just as the moon moves through her cycles and her phases, there's a new moon, which is darker. There's a full moon, which is brighter. Yet they both appear in the night. They both appear amidst the darkness. And so sometimes in our dance with the darkness, we are going to have a glimmer of light that brings us hope. And sometimes there won't be any light to be seen at all, and we are going to feel more hopeless, aimless, and directionless. We're going to feel potentially more fearful, more alone. And all of those feelings are a part of what it means to dance with the darkness. And this is the medicine of the winter solstice, is it teaches us to dance with the darkness. Not that there are set steps to this dance, because there aren't any. The steps are decided and danced uniquely by you, intuitively, soulfully, emotionally. These are danced by you. These are steps taken by you, and your dance with the darkness, your journey with death, your path with the cold is yours and yours alone to walk. And the medicine that is laden in that walk, in that dance, and in you being present with that dance is what is going to heal the world. And I thank you for being so courageous to walk with the darkness, to be with her, to see her as the beautiful mother that she is. Because she is. She is a dear friend and a sister. She is a wisdom keeper and a medicine woman. And as painful as it is, I am humbled and grateful to walk with her. And as much as I would much rather have my baby here, as much as I would rather be holding him right now, celebrating this time with him instead of remembering him, I feel his spirit with me all the time. I feel his light just as I gaze at the candle in front of me and I see this light amidst the darkness. He is my light amidst this darkness, amidst death and grief and sorrow and tragedy and trauma and the winter. And I am grateful to walk this path with this medicine woman that is darkness, with this sacred and most holy of teachers. And I bow to every woman that has walked with her. I bow to every man that has walked with her, every child, every brother, every sister who has walked alongside this medicine woman that is death. It is not an easy walk. It is not easy to sit in the fire. And yet, we do. So thank you for being here with me, sitting in the fire with the fire. Thank you for listening to this podcast, this recording. Thank you for listening to my words and the words of Lao Tzu, the words of Arlene Bailey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being with the darkness. I bow so humbly at your feet in the deepest reverence. All my love.